As part of your Thursday, as here is Zach Littell, ready to deal the first pitch of the game to right-hand batting Taylor Ward, and it's outside. At 1:12, we are underway, a little behind today for whatever reason. Well, Neil mentioned it, so it bears drilling down on the lack of run support for the Tigers. They're swinging a drive to deep right towards the corner. Goes Mangum at the wall. It's a leadoff homer. So the trend from yesterday continues. Opposite field home runs here at Steinbrenner Field, and 2 pitches in, it's 1-0 Angels.
Well, Ward did what the rest of the Angels hitters did yesterday, and I don't know that would be out in many ballparks, but from a pitching standpoint, you almost have to make some sort of adjustment and work in a little more. That was a fastball middle, and Ward just went to the opposite field and took care of the jet stream. The jet stream helped, and unfortunately, the Rays find themselves down before a batter's been retired.
I found it odd yesterday when we looked up that the home runs here wouldn't have been out of any other ballpark. That part doesn't surprise me, but not Yankee Stadium. This is supposed to be the same dimensions, but maybe different wind currents. Luis Rengifo pops the next pitch up to shortstop. Jose Caballero gives way to second baseman Brandon Lau to the right of the bag, and there's out number 1.
I'll give the Angels credit. They got the ball in the air. They've got a ground ball pitcher on the hill. We'll see how that plays. Jonathan Aranda playing first. Brandon Lau at second. Jose Caballero at short. Third baseman Junior Caminero. And it's Morel, Meisner, Mangum left to right in the outfield with Ben Rortvedt behind the plate.
Here's Mike Trout, who's been held to walks in this series. And the pitch came up and just missed hitting him around the chest. You've been talking about perhaps pitching more inside. Well, he backed Trout away there. I really thought for a second it did hit him in the elbow. Trout takes inside. The sunshine now bathing this field, but it'll go in and out from behind the clouds all day long from what we understand. With the wind blowing out to right. 2-0. And Littell to the plate. And there's a pop fly shallow right center field, but Meisner got a good jump, and to his left tracks that one down. 2 men away.
I didn't get to mention it, but boy, it looked like Trout is sitting right on the plate. One of those 2 that missed was like a baseball off, and it almost hit his elbow also. So I think the Angels are figuring, okay, if the ball's going to carry that way, let's get right on the plate and force them to adjust to us.
Here's Jorge Soler with 2 out, nobody on. He homered yesterday. I mean, every run, there were 9 runs scored in the game, and they all came on homers for the teams combined. He takes slider low and away, ball 1. Third baseman Junior Caminero is doing a little yard work there deep at third. Remember, it's a brand new infield starting this series compared to the first homestand. Another slider misses low and outside. 2 balls, no strikes. What's he doing over there? It's like he's patting the dirt down, stepping on it. I don't know if to try to flatten it out or what. Here's Littell on the 2-0 delivery. There's a fastball strike. But in terms of lack of run support for Zach Littell, it's got to be hard to not take it personally after a while. You go back to almost a calendar year ago, to last May, the lowest or second lowest supported pitcher in all the game. Strike 2 called on the outside corner, 2-2. No, it is the lowest. He has the lowest run support. 2 3/4 runs per game on average with Zach Littell on the mound from his offense. To the plate, 2-2, low and outside. And it's 3-2.
He's such a nice guy. How could you not support Zach?
Honestly. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Soler has not swung yet. Now the payoff pitch on the way from the Rays right-hander is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Throwing a fastball away, the hardest pitch of the sequence, and Soler is down. But the second pitch of the game was deposited into the right field stands by Taylor Ward. At the end of half an inning, it's the Yankees.
Take a hack at guessing which baseball player or manager said the following.
I really don't know what to say. I'm just so happy I gave something these people cheer. We all did. I mean, it was a great game. Both teams played incredible. It was a great game.
That's Mike Piazza after he hit an 8th inning go-ahead home run in the first New York Mets home game after 9/11. Hear moments like this and more on the MLB app and MLB.com.
Great moments in baseball have been broadcast on the radio since 1921.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game by the score of 3-2.
the next unforgettable call on the MLB app and MLB.com.
Can't get enough baseball? Start streaming MLB Network today. Get up to 15 out-of-market games a week live on any device, plus 24/7 access to MLB Network's award-winning shows, including live game look-ins and exclusive player interviews. And hear live radio play-by-play from all 30 clubs with MLB at Bat. Enjoy the home of baseball from virtually anywhere. Plans start as low as $5.99 per month. Sign up now at MLBnetwork.com/stream. Available in the U.S. only. Blackout restriction applies. Visit MLB.com/subscribe for full terms and conditions.
Plan yours at visit spc.com. Our pitching preview is from Canes Furniture, quality selection value. It's the confidence of Canes. Jose Soriano, one of the highest ground ball rates in the game, on the hill today for the Angels. He's made 2 starts so far this year. Made 2 against the Rays last year. Had mixed results, better at home than on the road.
And he really keeps the ball in the ballpark, along with the sink that he has and the ground ball tendency. One would think no home runs goes with that, and that's been true. Yandy Diaz, who homered yesterday, takes low and outside, ball 1. Pretty good control pitcher, but everything usually chopped into the ground, except if your name is Jose Ramirez of Cleveland. He had 2 against him last time out. This pitch is down, and it's 2-0. He left in a 1-0 lead in his first start, 7 shutout against the White Sox, and got the win with the Angels holding on to that 1-0 victory in Chicago. And here's a swing and a grounder right to shortstop with a routine pickup and throw. Tim Anderson, and down goes Yandy Diaz, 1 away.
Defensively for the Rays, Nolan Shonowell at first, Kyron Paris at second, Tim Anderson, as you mentioned, at short, Luis Rengifo at third. Logan Hoppe is behind the plate today with Jorge Soler in right, and Taylor Ward is in left, and the center fielder, Joe Adell.
Overall, 5 runs, 5 hits, and 5 1/3, and a loss against Cleveland. Ball was flying all over the yard down the Angels Stadium when the Angels and the Guardians got together. Here's Brandon Lowe taking low outside, ball 1. I think the trap in what is becoming such a, home run park, at least over the last game or so, and it's looking like that may continue. As Lowe lifts one in the air towards left center field, and that is hit well, but Ward, back to the warning track, makes an over-the-shoulder catch in front of the Culver sign. Brandon trying to go against the norm, and actually I think that's a pretty good sign that it's just getting to the point where you don't want to change your swing and just try to pull it, and he didn't. He went with it and hit it well, but for an out.
Well, the Rays made hard contact. 108 off the bat of Yandy, 106 for Brandon Lowe, but unfortunately 1 on the ground and 1 in the part of the park where it hasn't gone out. All but 1 of the home runs here at Steinbrenner Field have gone to right or to center so far.
Including this man's Junior Caminero 2 nights ago to right field. And first one to him is low and outside. Jose Joaquin Soriano Santana is his full given name. Born in Santo Domingo, now lives in Boca Chica, Dominican Republic. And Soriano right back. Slider, strike on the outside. Now that came up as knuckle curveball. So that's how it was labeled, but he does throw a slider also. 1 ball, 1 strike to Junior Caminero. Soriano first base out of the rubber to the plate. Line drive, left field, base hit. Another hard hit ball, and this one found the grass, and the Rays had their first hit of the game.
And we remind you that every hit's a win with Suncoast.
Wait a minute, hold on, Neil. The relay throw in from Taylor Ward gets away from Anderson and company, and taking second, Caminero. You were saying
that every hit's a win with Suncoast. For every Rays hit, Suncoast donates $79 in honor of their 79 Florida branches, with up to $10,000 going toward 2 local nonprofits each month.
As I get a better look, it wasn't a bad throw, and it wasn't like it got away from Anderson. Ward threw to second base, and it hit the base. It hit second base and caromed towards the first base side of the infield grass.
Should be, though, an error. Just because it hit the bag, you can't penalize the fielder, right?
That's a bad luck error if you're Ward. We'll see how they do rule it. Here's Jonathan Aranda with suddenly a man in scoring position. Soriano sets and throws. Fastball a little high, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
Soriano's thrown ball 1 to every one of the 4 hitters in this inning.
And some pretty good contact. Some loud contact from the first 3 guys. Aranda, after a day off yesterday, Swings and grounds one, but right to the second baseman, Kyron Paris, who throws him to first to retire the side. A decently hit ball, but for an out, and the Rays come up empty. At the end of one, Angels 1, Rays nothing on the Rays Radio Network.
If you want.
Thin crust pizza knocks it out of the park.
All right, well, we go to the second inning. After Taylor Ward had hit one out of the park, his first time up, here's Logan O'Hoppe, who had homered in 4 straight starts until yesterday. He had a quiet day offensively, fanning 3 times. Here comes Littell throwing. Fastball, there's a strike on the outside. It's 1-1. We've been talking about how often the Rays are playing at home, this longest homestand in 20 years. Angels with 15 of their first 18 on the road. Now that ties in with the Rays because this was a scheduled series in Anaheim. Swinging a line drive past Caminero and down the left field line. Good for extra bases. Trying for second is O'Hoppe, and the throw by Morrell is not in time. It's a leadoff double for Logan O'Hoppe. So he didn't homer, but he got halfway around, and he's at second to start off the second inning. Up comes Nolan Shonowell. Angels were one of a couple of teams, Twins also, to flip their series scheduled to be at their park, to put it here at Steinbrenner Field to try to get as many series in before rainy season begins. Here's Shonowell trying to pull the baseball on Littell, and he takes inside ball 1. The Angels are 15 of 18 on the road. The last time that was done, that many road games to begin the year, the 1957 Chicago Cubs. Didn't play much at Wrigley in the early going in 57. In fact, they were still owned by Bill Wrigley at the time. There's a strike called, and it's 1-1. I looked up their roster, Neil, and what stood out to me was that there were 2 future managers on that 1957 Cubs team.
Who were they?
I'll tell you in just a moment. First, the 1-1 delivery from Littell. This one misses outside. Jim Fanning, who played 47 games with the team that year, ended up managing, was a longtime baseball man, I know, managed the Expos. And interestingly enough, an acquisition on waivers from the Milwaukee Braves to the Chicago Cubs, Chuck Tanner, swinging a grounder by first and found down the right field line. He played 95 games that year, so they had two future successful big league managers, guys that managed postseason teams. Fanning was there for the 81 Cubs. Of course, Tanner was there for the 79 Pirates, and managed the White Sox prior to.
I wonder how many teams over the years have had 2 future major league managers on their playing roster.
And successful ones. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Shonowell. Littell deals. Slice past third, down the left field line, dropping quickly. Fair or foul? It's a fair ball. Takes a bounce and goes out of play for an automatic double, sending O'Hoppe home on a double by Shonowell. It's now 2-0 Angels.
Well, it's super important here for Zach Littell to not be fazed by this, and he usually is very composed. The Angels have hit 3 balls softer than every ball the Rays hit in the first inning. But those 3 balls put in play have gone in the right spot, and they're all extra base hits, and the Rays are down a bloop and a blast already.
Rays got the atom ball going. The Angels dropping them in where they aren't. And here's Kyren Paris. And the first pitch to him. Before we talk about Paris, one other note on that 57 Cubs team, they finished dead last in the National League. 30 games under 500 and 33 games tied with Pittsburgh behind the pennant-winning Milwaukee Braves. There's a swing and a miss by Paris, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
They should have let the players manage.
Maybe. 1 ball and 1 strike to Paris, who's the hottest hitter going, and probably 2 weeks into the year, he'd be Rookie of the Year and MVP in the American League. And the pitch, check swing. I think he went, and he did, said home plate umpire Malachi Moore. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hitting homers, stealing bases, 3 homers in this series thus far. And he hits a lot better than his size might indicate. A small guy, but with a very powerful swing that he has uncovered just within the last few months. There's a swing and a miss, and Littell gets him. A splitter down on 1 and 2, strikes out Paris. Second strikeout for Littell.
Most of Paris's damage in this series has been early in the count, either first pitch breaking ball or fastballs early, and their steady diet of off speed, and Paris was off stride.
Now Joe Adell. O'Shaughnessy at second, only 1 out. He takes under the hands inside, 1-0. Adell 0 for 4 in the opener. Did not play yesterday. 1 ball, no strikes. Littell offers. Check swing. No appeal needed, said Malachi Moore. It's a strike. He went around, and it's 1-1. Trout with a DH day. Adell goes to center. Soler plays right. And Kyren Paris back to the infield. So some versatility there for Ron Washington's group. 1 ball and 1 strike. Running for third is Shonowell. The ball's lifted in the air towards right field. Back near the warning track goes Mangum. Under it, makes the catch at the base of the wall. Shonowell went to tag, and he ends up falling down as he tried to push off second base. And he'll stay at second.
I guess don't push the bag too hard or it pushes right back.
It tripped him up. The bag grew arms and tripped up Nolan Shonowell.
And that was awfully close to getting out of the ballpark, even though it really was not hit that well. Still carrying out to right, even though there's very little wind right now.
Now Tim Anderson, who was hitless in the series, who's had a very good couple of games with his glove. Former batting champion, leans back in a slider top of the zone, grabs the strike zone, and it's 0-1. 2-0 Angels. We're in the second inning. Littell works on the first base side of the rubber. Bounces to a stop. No look to second, the pitch. Fastball a little bit high. And 1 ball, 1 strike.
As this completes once through the order, very unusual for Zach. He is 2 out of 9 now on first pitch strikes. He was over 70% his first couple starts.
1-1. To the chest, he stares back to second. Down the hill he comes. Swinging a foul. 1 bounce off the screen left of the plate, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And it's reflected in his overall numbers. Only 18 out of 30 pitches so far for strikes. I mean, he's usually significantly higher than that. Is kind of setting that tone.
He's really filled up the zone in his first 2 starts against Colorado and Texas. 1-2 the count to the right-handed batting Anderson. Littell's pitch is swung on and missed. Nope, foul tipped. And he stays alive. So I guess that was not caught by Rortvedt. Thought he missed it. From where we saw, didn't see it hit the ground, but it must have. No arguments. And it stays 1-2. A ball and 2 strikes. And again, Littell pitches and lifted in the air to right, but slicing out of play. 1-2 the count. Angels trying to win their 4th straight series to begin a year for the first time since 2018. That year they won their first 5 series. They're going to Houston after this game, and they'll open up a weekend set against the Astros starting tomorrow night. Now in 1-2, fastball high and away, or slider, I should say. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rays will welcome in the surprisingly struggling Atlanta Braves. Just 2-9. Tied with the Rockies for the worst record in the game coming in. Anderson takes just outside, and it runs full 3-2.
The box is right. That was a ball. Malachi Moore has one of the better strike zones in terms of in the game. It was a ball off the plate. A nice job by Rortvedt to try and bring it back in.
So it's a full count with the top of the order Ward, who's homered on deck. Time asked for by Anderson and granted by Malachi Moore. And I should mention, too, the White Sox also 2-9. There are 3 teams in the game that have lost 9 of the first 11, and the Braves are coming in. Of those teams, you'd have to think the Braves are head and shoulders above the White Sox and Rockies. Littell's payoff pitch to Anderson is outside, and from 1-2, and thinking he might have had a strikeout, he walked him to get to Taylor Ward, and that'll get Kyle Snyder, the Rays pitching coach, to the mound. This is un-Littell-like, as you said.
Yeah, very. And it's almost like he's rushing. His sliders are breaking so early that they're balls out of hand, and that's a very big pitch for Zach. He usually can change the shape and manipulate it, and he doesn't seem to have that command, and that unfortunately also forces him into more fastball counts, and Ward has now in 2 days has twice taken advantage of a fastball in the outer third and just taken it out to that short porch and right.
First time through the rotation, the starters were all about as good as they could be. Second time through, there were a couple of blips. Now third time through, Pepio struggled early, found it, got through 5. Littell today having a hard time with some count control.
And this is an Angels team now that's 4th in the majors in the early going and home runs hit.
Yeah. And when men get on base here, you got to be very wary of the home run ball. And Ward has done it twice in the series, including on the second pitch today. He takes too low, ball 1.
So it's now 2 out of 10.
Runner at second, Nolan Shanoel, with Tim Anderson at first. Not being held by Aranda, not playing near the back, so Anderson's got a huge lead. Ward takes. There's a strike at the bottom part of the zone. It's even, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Looked like a crisper slider out of hand.
Ward is hitting 9 of 12 games, including his first homer yesterday and another one today. He swings and dribbles one up the third baseline, foul by third base coach Eric Young Sr. Bo Porter, former manager, is coaching first.
I think Junior's still with the Atlanta Braves as a coach. So we'll see both Senior and Junior on back-to-back days.
He left him a gift, or a note at least, in the visiting clubhouse. Now the 1-2 from Littell, swinging a pop-up out of play to the right side. Ward was a first-round pick for the Angels. He was the 26th overall pick in the 2015 draft from Fresno State. Last year, hit .246. And a leadoff homer, not anything new. He had 5 of those last year. Now Littell on the 1-2, grounded along third, foul. In fact, 5 leadoff homers last year. The most leadoff homers in a season since Mike Trout in his early incarnation. 2012 had 5 leadoff homers. This one today, Ward's first of the new season. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runners lead the pitch. Swinging a ground ball towards short. Routine for Caballero. A quick flip to second to get the sliding Tim Anderson to retire the side. So he just gives up the 1 and leaves the pair in through 1.5. It's 2-0 Angels on the Rays Radio Network.
Everyone deserves.
Soriano in the second. They hit the ball hard against him in the first.
Christopher Morel, Cameron Meisner, Jose Caballero against the very hard-throwing Jose Soriano. The right-hander's first pitch is chopped to the ground foul. It's 0-1. Soriano, in fact, such a hard thrower that there was only one other pitcher last year that had the same average velocity on his fastball as Soriano did, and that's Paul Skeens of Pirates, Rookie of the Year. He steps back and deals. Morel takes outside. It's 1-1 strike.
Biggest difference between the two is that Soriano does it quite differently with all the sinkers. He does not get a lot of swing and miss for such a hard thrower.
1-1 the count. He bends the knees, lifts the leg, and now throws. Swing and a miss. At the knuckle curve, and it is 1-2 to Morel.
It's also not just his fastball. His slider is as hard as any slider in terms of velo, and the knuckle curve is as hard as any in terms of that pitch.
He doesn't throw many, as they call, four-seam fastballs. Now on 1-2, bounced it in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He was an international free agent, signed in 2016. At one point, they did not protect him from the Rule 5 draft, and he went to the Pirates. But it was a bad time to go there or anywhere as a minor leaguer because they didn't have a season in 2020. There's a swing and a miss, and Morel chased the slider for strike 3. 1 out, nobody on for Cameron Meisner. He ended up having Tommy John surgery that year. Did come back following the 21 year to the Angels, and it's been an incline to the big leagues since. 22 games last year. Here's Cameron Meisner. 2-0 Angels, 1 out, no one on, bottom of the second. The first pitch to the left-hand batter is there for a strike at 97, and it's 0-1. Everyone breathing out a sigh of relief after Meisner was deemed to be okay after the hit-by pitch towards his face 2 nights ago. He looks at one high and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. But the fact, too, that he was thinking about switching from the helmet that has the protection to the side of your face more than just the ear flap. He takes down and in 2-1. And he ended up, because he had only been using it since 23, affected his balance as many players do. And sometimes the hitters feel that it affects their vision also with that thing. But he hung with it, and it might have been a career saver as the knuckle curve stays high, 3-1. I mean, you get hit at the cheekbone, that's pretty bad. But the plastic in the helmet protected him, and he was able to hop right up. Meisner swings and misses at the sinker, and it's 3-2.
Boy, that ball just disappears. I mean, it almost looks like a split the way it drops.
3 balls, 2 strikes, with Caballero on deck. Infield plays in the pull. Meisner takes high ball 4. So it's a 1-out walk, and the Rays get a base runner on what looked like a pitch that Soriano really overthrew.
That's one issue he had in one of his 2 starts against the Rays last year, where I think he walked 4 or 5 batters in 5 innings, and he was working in and out of trouble. He just kept the ball on the ground, and it's up to the Rays and the guy who got the ball in the air yesterday to find a way to do that here.
He sure did. Jose Caballero, first career grand slam. And the first one to him here, check swing at the slider, low and away, 1-0. But the note we saw before the game, Neil, that in the history of the Rays, there's only been 5 grand slams in the first inning. And we've seen, I think, 4 of the 5. See if I can remember the list. The 1-0 delivery on the way to Caballero with Meisner leading at first. Caballero's the tying run, swings and misses. The first time it ever happened was in 02 or 03 with Jared Sandberg. Carlos Pena did it in 2012 on opening day. It wasn't just the first inning. It was the first inning of the season.
I was so excited I broke a tile in our booth.
Neil punched the ceiling, and we'll never let that thing go. We have it. There's a swing and a little punch, speaking of punches, foul to the right side out of play, and it's 1-2. Pena then hit a walk-off hit against Mariano Rivera to win that opening day of 2012. Joey Butler did it in the last game of the year of 2015 against Mark Burley, which was the only grand slam the Rays hit that year. Kevin Cash's first year as manager. Quick throw to first with Meisner back standing. And then Joey Wendell had done it. I think I saw 2021 And then yesterday, first inning slam by Jose Caballero. Meisner leading at first, not running. Caballero takes, breaking ball, and that is strike 3 called. Knuckle curve, locked him up. And second strikeout for Soriano in the inning. 2-out runner at first, and leads it for Jake Mangum.
Really good breaking ball right at the bottom of the zone and just froze Cabby.
When they say knuckle curve, it's not knuckling the way a true knuckleball does. It's the way they hold it. They often spike that index finger onto the baseball, so the grip looks like a half a knuckleball grip, but it's really a curveball. Mangum batting lefty, takes low and in, ball 1.
And similar to a knuckleballer, you probably want to see the ball up against Soriano. When he's throwing strikes down in the zone, he's going to be tough to get to.
He's really good at that. 1 ball to no strikes. Mangum takes, down and away, and he's ahead 2-0. I always find it fascinating, as what Neil was saying before, when you have such a hard thrower who doesn't get that much swing and miss. Some pitchers have that early in their career, then they learn as time goes by. Sometimes you can get more swing and miss by taking a little bit off of their pitches and having some better command and movement with it. Mangum asks for time. It's 2-0. Meisner away from Shonowell at first, and the pitch swung on and missed. Knuckle curveball. 2-1.
And it ended up right at the bottom of the strike zone and actually slightly in off the plate.
2 balls, 1 strike to the rookie Mangum. They give him the gap in right center field. And he swings it foul. Hit the bat a second time. On the swing, it hit the bat foul. And then the backswing knocked it along third base. Count is even at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, there's a temptation with the way the ball's carrying to right, if you're a left-hand batter, to be pull heavy, but you almost have to stay on the baseball and shoot it the other way as a lefty, the way Soriano's ball sinks.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Time asked for once again, but Mangum had already used, I guess there was the pitcher that used it?
Yeah, it was a disengagement the first time.
All right, thank you. 2-2 the count. Now Mangum has used his. The 2 ball, 2 strike pitch from Soriano coming in. Lifted in the air towards left. The ballpark will hold this, though. Taylor Ward drifting back on it, now under it. And he's got it to retire the side. A walk and 1 left, and through 2, Angels 2, Rays nothing on the Rays Radio Network.
Great moments in baseball have been broadcast on the radio since
So nice.
Thanks, Andy. 3 hits for the Angels, all extra base hits as Luis Rengifo steps in. And the first one to the third baseman batting left is a called strike from Zach Littell, 0-1. Zach had fallen behind a fair amount in the first couple of innings, and give the Angels credit, they've taken advantage. Infield a pull, 0-1. Fisted foul to the left on a high fastball, and it's 0-2. 2-3-4 coming up for the Angels, up 2-0. Mike Trout to follow, and then Jorge Soler. Rengifo really starting at third because Yohan Moncada has been bothered by that bad thumb, went on the injured list today. 2-strike pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him upstairs with a slider. And down on strikes Rengifo on 3 pitches, and that's K number 3 for Zach Littell. I'll bring up the DH Mike Trout. Well, the Angels, as we had mentioned last inning, they're 4th in the majors coming into today with homers, and now with a total of 18 on the year. Still not quite in Yankee territory as the pitch coming. Taken all the way. That's a strike, a fastball, and it's 0-1. Ron Washington, their manager, decided to change things up in spring training in terms of the rules, and Mike Trout really helped enforce as the pitch is lined towards second and caught by Brandon Lau. Didn't even have to move. And quickly 2 down in the inning for Zach Littell and the Rays, down 2-0 in the third.
Whether you're crossing the state line or just going across town, Club Citgo can save you money on every fill-up along the way. When you start with Citgo, you're good to go.
So here's Jorge Soler with 2 gone in the third. Zach Littell seeking his first quiet frame. Pitch to the right fielder is a slider off the plate for ball 1. Washington decided in spring training he wasn't going to allow cell phones to be used in the clubhouse or the player would be fined. 1-0 from Littell to Soler. Swinging a ground ball hit hard but foul past third. And it's 1-1. And basically have let the players enforce it. And the goal was very simple. He wanted more communication between individuals instead of guys sitting there looking at their phone instead of getting ready for the game. It's a slider outside to Soler, and it's 2-1. What if we had a no-phone policy in the booth? I don't know that we could work without that.
We did for many years. We could maybe figure it out again.
2-1. Swing and a miss. Took something off that splitter. And Soler out in front. It's 2-2.
I think, Neil, it was, I don't know, maybe around 2011 or 2012 when you could get so many great updates around the league on social media that I found it hard to do a game without it because it keeps you locked in on what's happening elsewhere.
2-2 is inside, and it's a full count. No! Called strike 3, says Malachi Moore. And you know what? He's right. That got the inside corner. Littell just took advantage in a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of punch-outs. 2.5 complete. It is 2-0 Angels.
Great moment.
Angels. A couple of one-run affairs. Rays winning last night after dropping the opener. Ben Rortvedt, only guy not to bat in the game, waits on Jose Soriano and takes the fastball upstairs for ball one. Ben's been playing every third game behind home plate, with Danny Jansen catching the other games. 1-0 from the righty to the lefty. It's taken inside part of the plate, called strike, a breaking ball, and it's 1-1. So far, Ben Rortvedt 0 for 9 with one walk. Infield plays to pull on the ground, and a bunt attempt to third base side, picked up by Soriano. He gloves, sets, and flips in time to get Rortvedt. And there's one down. That's a very astute play by Jose Soriano and by Rortvedt. There's nobody on the left side. If you just push that a little bit further up the third base line, it's a bunt base hit, and it's a nice idea by Ben with the Rays down 2-0 in the third inning. Unfortunately, it wasn't far enough away from Soriano as Yandy Diaz takes a strike, a sinker, and it's 0-1. He's trying to put a little pressure on the right-hander Soriano. Again, he's so efficient, too. This will be just his 35th offering. Swinging a ground ball, pulled right to short. Hit hard, but right at a guy, and Tim Anderson there and throws out Yandy, who's now pulled it right to the shortstop twice. And when you start to see him elevate the baseball on a line, you really know he's coming around. He did homer yesterday. So 2 gone and none on. The Rays have not had a leadoff base runner against Soriano. They've had one base runner in each of the first 2 innings. Brandon Lau drove one well to left his first time. Righty to lefty, here it comes from Soriano. Way outside, a fastball 1-0. Infield very much to pull. Anderson very close to the second base bag. He's been, I think, dangerously close to violations is the pitch. Swinging a little slow ground ball back to the mound and snared by Soriano. He'll take it to the bag himself, so it goes one unassisted. And the Rays go down quickly and quietly on 3 ground ball outs here in the third inning.
Let's see if we can figure out the following base.
Support the community. You can donate and win from home at raise5050.com. Angels lead 2-0 through 3.
And Logan O'Hoppe has scored one of the 2. He's at the plate, and he takes a called strike from Zach Littell. It's 0-1. First pitch slider. Doubled past Junior Caminero down the left field line, and scored on a double by the on-deck man Nolan Shonowell as the pitch is a breaking ball that just missed outside. On appeal, ball 1 upheld down at first. Andy Fletcher, the crew chief there, and it's 1-1 strike. Looked more like a curveball than a slider. 1-1 coming from Zach Littell. That's taken outside corner. Fastball strike 2 called, 1-2. Well, Hoppy not happy with Malachi Moore there, and that might have been a baseball off.
Oh, Hoppy, not oh happy.
He said, I better get that for Jose Soriano. 1-2. Swinging a ground ball, sharply struck, but right to short. Caballero throws low down to first, but dug out by Jonathan Aranda. And the first batter retired here in the fourth for Zach Littell and the Rays. Rays giving Taylor Walls a day off at short.
Jose Caballero gets rid of the ball very, very quickly. Usually the throw is plenty on it, but that time he took a lot off the throw, I think, with the catcher running, and it took that backhanded by Aranda.
Almost looked like a changeup he threw to first base as Nolan Shonowell takes in there for a called strike, 0-1, top of the zone with a slider. Angels up 2-0, and this is a portion of the game where the Rays have had a little bit of difficulty. 0-1 from Zach Littell. Swinging a foul straight back, it's 0-2. The Rays are tied with a few clubs for the fewest runs scored in the first through fifth innings. You know, even though they're right near 500 at 5-6, they've done most of their damage in games late. Kevin Cash wants to really start to see the offense put a little more pressure on the other side because it's putting pressure on the Rays pitchers, too.
In theory, it shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah, they're human. 0-2. Roller foul toward the Rays dugout. First base side, still 0-2. Well, it's hard to say, you know, you're not thinking about it as a pitcher when you know your team has had a tough time scoring runs early in games. Rays have scored just 18 of their 42 runs in the first 5 innings. 0-2 again. Swinging a ground ball, slowly hit foul toward first base. Handled by Bo Porter, and it's still 0-2.
And even though it's been de-emphasized within the game, pitchers still, they like W's and they don't like L's next to their names.
And they'd like some support just in general, and Zach Littell is right at the bottom, as you mentioned, in terms of run support, the pitch. That's taken just a hair high and outside.
We'll take
it's 1-2.
Yesterday, Pepio gave up a couple of home runs to the opposite field, which I'm sure weren't fun, but the fact that the Rays had the lead allowed Kevin Cash to stay with him a little bit. You know, he had Mason Engler warming early. Without that grand slam, Pepio might have been out of there early.
1-2 again is fisted in the air, back of third, long run Caminero. This will find the seats. Third base side, it's still 1-2. And the Rays were going to be aggressive with their bullpen in part because they want to win that game after losing the first one, too. Englert, who generally is their longer guy, has not pitched in quite a while, in fact, since the first homestand. 1-2 again. Swinging a drive toward right. The wind will push this one toward the wall, and Mangum leaps, and he caught it. Right at the top of the Republic Bank sign, Jake Mangum took away at least an extra base hit, if not a solo homer away from Nolan Shonowell at the short porch in right field. 2 down here in the fourth.
Shonowell not really known for power and has not hit one yet this year. Just missed.
Tough to tell from the angle if that would have gone over. Might have. Pretty darn close. Shonowell put his hands on his helmet as a pitch inside to Kyron Paris, 1-0. It was an extra base hit for sure. And Mangum with the glove, and again keeping the Rays within a bloop and a blast, which is big the way Soriano's going. The pitch, swing and a miss. Sinker on the hands, and it's 1-1 on Paris, who became, the youngest player to have as many homers and steals in the 10 games into a season in American League history. And along with some guys like Larry Walker and Lou Brock, who've accomplished this on the National League side. 5 homers, 4 steals. A ground ball hit hard on one hop. Backhanded by Caballero. Sets and throws, and in time to be able to get Paris. And it wasn't easy, but Zach Littell gets a second straight 1-2-3 frame in the fourth. So we're through 3.5. 2-0 Angels still on the Rays Baseball Network.
Selling your
Junior Caminero taking a strike from Jose Soriano, and the count 0-1 here in the fourth. Rays down 2-0 in Tampa to the Angels in the rubber game of 3. As Soriano at the ready, bends the knee and kicks the leg, and the pitch inside a ball. It's 1-1. Alongside Andy Fried with Chris Adams-Wall joining us next half inning in the booth. I'm Neil Solondz. Chris Mueller, our engineer here in the booth with Casey Warner, and Chris Mathis back at our network studios. The pitch. Swinging a line drive on a left, sinking quickly over Ward. He can't get it. It rises over his head and off the wall. And Caminero races into second with a double. And the Rays have a second hit from Junior, and that was absolutely scalded. I was thinking it was going to drop in front of Ward, but it just kept rising over his head.
That's like when the pitcher throws the fastball at the top of the zone and it never sinks. I thought with you that he might have top spun it some. Whether he did or not, it was hit just so hard that Ward had to go chase it.
112 off the bat for Junior, and we're starting to hear that loud contact from him again. So he's now singled and doubled. And I think those are probably the two hardest hit balls he's had back-to-back in any game in the young season. So now Jonathan Aranda with an RBI chance. He grounded to second his first time, and he takes the sinker for a strike, 0-1. Kevin Cash lauded Jonathan before the game about how good he's been at adjusting at bat to at bat and pitch to pitch. Leads the Rays in doubles, has 1 home run. Wheel to second, and a throw is behind Caminero to Anderson, who didn't even go to the bag. He's right on the back of the infield dirt almost.
If that's at first base, it's a balk.
Correct.
At second base, you can do what they just did.
I always wonder why they allow it to be that way at second. 0-1. High. Fastball, and it's 1-1. 97 from Soriano. Well, we were talking 2 innings ago, I think, about the fact that the Angels are playing 15 out of 18 on the road. First time anyone's done that since the 57 Cubs. 1-1 to Aranda. Swinging a ground ball hit toward the middle and through into right center. A base hit that'll get the Rays on the board. Caminero waved home by Brady Williams. He scores standing up without a throw. RBI single, Jonathan Aranda. The Rays within 1 now at 2-1 here in the 4th inning.
With that first run, Mosaic donates another $500 to Fighting Hunger in Tampa Bay. As we mentioned, even though the Rays weren't getting hits, they were hitting the ball hard first time through against Soriano. You just keep hitting it hard and hope it finds the holes.
And that did. Jonathan Aranda with an RBI, his 4th of the year. Here's Christopher Morel, one of the 2 strikeout victims so far, both right-hand batters. The pitch. Slider for a called strike, bottom of the zone, 0-1. Well, we were talking about that Cubs team in 57 had 2 future Major League managers in Chuck Tanner and Jim Fanning. 0-1. Way outside, a fastball, and it's 1-1. And Patrick tweeted in, gave us a great thought, and mentioned that in 2000, I was wondering how many other teams had 2 future Major League managers on them. And in essence, the 2005 Rays did. 1-1. Outside and low, and it's 2-1. Because Kevin Cash was on the then Devil Rays, and although he was injured a lot that year, Rocco Baldelli was on their roster too.
He missed the entire season, but he was on the roster.
2-1 on Morel, still looking for that first home run of the year. The pitch. Swinging a ground ball pulled behind third and foul. Off the sidewall, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes on Morel, shaking his hand as he was a little bit out in front on that curveball, that hard curve from Soriano. Not many guys that throw an overhand curveball, or you call it a spike curve since they call it a knuckle curve. He holds it with his spikes of the fingers at 85 miles an hour. 2-2, Aranda, a short lead at first. The pitch. That's a breaking ball, called strike 3. And bailing out of the way was Morel, and that slider, a harder pitch at 88, got Morel for the second time today. He's down on strikes, and there's 1 gone in the Rays' 4th, down 2-1.
No argument. That ended up center of the plate.
We were I think, mentioning earlier in the series when Shane Baz pitched, how many guys lead now with curveballs as their big breaking ball as Cameron Meisner takes high and away for a ball 1-0. He used to be more in vogue. Remember when Doc Gooden became such a terrific phenom with the Mets? He was, they called his curveball Lord Charles at the time.
Blyleven had one of the best. Of course, Nolan Ryan.
As a broken back ground ball towards second, handled by Paris, flips to second for one, on to first. It's a double play, and just like that, Soriano is out of the inning with damage minimized. Rays get a run on 2 hits, but leave none as Soriano exploding some bats.
Let's see if we can figure out the following baseball.
Bay.com. At the end of 4, as we go to the 5th, as Angels 2, Rays 1. For more play-by-play, Chris Adams-Wall.
All right, thank you very much, Andy. Three-man booth. Here's Joe Adell flying one deep to center on the first pitch from Zach Littell. At the wall is Meisner, and this ball is gone. Joe Adell connects for home run number 1 here in 2025, and the Angels' lead is back to 2. It's now 3-1 here in the 5th.
What'd you just do? You yelled three-man booth, and they went over the wall.
Well, that won't happen again. You know what? I'm going to take off.
See ya. You know, those are just such punches to the sternum, aren't they? You just get a run back, and then one pitch later, you're back to where you started.
And now it's Tim Anderson, the number 9 hitter, who bounces one to third. It's fair. Caminero gloves, throws off balance to first, and it's dropped by Jonathan Aranda, and I think Anderson beat it out anyway. So he is there with an infield single. Back-to-back hits for the Halos to begin the 5th.
And they're ambushing Zach Littell. I think they made him work really hard first time through the order, and now I think they've seen all that he has, and they're anticipating well and getting good pitches to hit.
And now the lineup will turn over again for Taylor Ward, who homered on the second pitch of this afternoon's game. First one to him here is up high, ball 1. Ward is 1 for 2 with that home run. It was his second of the season. Now 31 years old. We told you he went to high school just outside Orlando. As the 1-0 from Littell turns into a pickoff attempt at first. Well, the Rays do at least have one run for Zach Littell today, but like you touched on earlier, Andy, runs have been hard to come by whenever Zach Littell's on the mound. The pitch. Swinging that one's shot in the air to center. Going back is Meisner at the wall. This one is gone. A 2-run home run for Taylor Ward, and the Angels have their second home run of the inning. Taylor Ward, his second of the game. And just like that, it's a 4-run cushion for the Halos now. It's 5-1 here in the 5th inning. Now I'm really going to take off.
Yeah, really. Get out of here.
Your run differential is not very good right now.
Tell you what, though, this is what the Angels did against Cleveland. They started piling home runs. A bunch of guys on home run streaks. So Hoppy was hitting them every day. Trout was. Paris was. And now Ward is.
And now it's Luis Rengifo. First pitch. Swung at and fisted back. And the count is now 0-1. It's hard to tell, though, if what we're seeing is real with the Angels. Because I remember when they came to Tampa Bay last season, they were playing pretty well.
Yeah.
And then they started to nosedive shortly thereafter, and that was it. The pitch. Swing, and that one is knocked into the seats on the third base side foul, and it's 0-2. You know, it is hard to believe. Last season, they finished in last place in the American League West for the first time since 1999, but they have not made the playoffs since 2014.
Well, we won't see them again after today until August, and then I think we'll really get a sense, are they for real or not?
Sure. 0-2 pitch is looped out of play third base side again. And it is still 0-2 to Luis Rengifo, who at one point was in the Rays system. Was acquired by the Angels in that C.J. Cron trade. As the 0-2 delivery misses down and away, and now it's 1-2. And guys, I was coming back from breakfast, which I was very happy to see was there today, and walked right past a guy wearing an Angels uniform. I'm not sure what he was doing down there as the 1-2 is swung on. It's stroked foul to the right side this time, and it's still 1-2, and it was Luis Rengifo. Gave him a little head nod, and this was in like the second inning, too. I'm like, what is he doing? He's going to get a snack?
Maybe he likes hash brown triangles like Becca.
Was he a Montgomery Biscuit with you?
He was not. I think the highest he got was Bowling Green maybe at the time. Low A at the time as he swings and grounds a base hit into center field here. So Luis Rengifo becomes the 4th batter this inning, and there have only been 4 batters this inning for Los Angeles with a hit.
Well, Kyle Snyder goes to the mound. You know, Littell had that rough stretch against Texas, but that was in the 2nd inning. This is in inning number 5, and I would think they might start getting Mason Engler going. He's at 75 pitches.
Yeah, this is that 3rd time through, and I think a lot of the toughness for Zach Stay is he really didn't set the tone early. He usually is such a strike thrower, and he was behind on 8 of the first 10 batters in the ball game, which is very unlike him, and it put the Rays behind the 8 ball. And again, the more efficient he is early, the more he can use his arsenal later on.
And 1 year ago, he had some control issues also. Had 3 walks in that game against the Angels in Anaheim. Had 9 base runners too, I believe, but only allowed 1 or 2 runs in what eventually ended up being a Rays win. So here is Mike Trout as Littell comes set and turns it loose. And that one dives down and away, ball 1. To Mike Trout, who is 0 for 2 with a line out to center and a line out to second. He has just 7 hits this season, does Mike Trout. 4 of them have gone for extra bases, 3 over the fence. Back downhill comes Littell. Swing and a miss. 91 on the outer edge there, and it's a ball and a strike to Trout, with Rengifo at first and the Rays down 5-1 here in the top of the 5th. Of course, we are just getting comfortable here at Steinbrenner Field. The pitch is swung on and blasted in the air to right. Going back is Mangum into the corner, and this ball sneaks over the wall for a 2-run home run. The 3rd long ball of the inning for the Los Angeles Angels. This one's a 2-run shot from Mike Trout, and the Halos are now up 7-1 here in the 5th inning.
Well, the first 2 were the first 2 really that were tagged to center field with the wind blowing across toward right. That was the little flare the other way, and as high as Mike Trout hits it, you figure it was going to be just enough to get out, and it just was. And that's going to be it for Zach Littell. A very tough day for him. Toughest start for any Ray so far of the young season.
Kevin Cash has signaled to the bullpen, and we will have that pitching change, but we'll have it for you on the other side of this break. Angels on top of the Rays, 7-1 here in the 5th. This is the Rays Baseball Network.
Craving the best.
It's a great night for baseball.
Strawberry lips burning on my skin, craving for you. I tell myself that the bubblegum wrapper is the sin. A tongue so sweet it can knock me out. What can I do? It tastes so good, every word you say is melting in my mouth. But I'm not gonna say that's my flavor. I'll put you away safe for later. Show up my candy eyes on the prize like an animal. I want you to. A body like yours on a sugar rush, need no beauty call. I never thought that a one can be something so good. A treat
Today.
So Mason Englert will come on for the Rays, now down 7-1 to the Los Angeles Angels as we keep it right here in the top of the fifth. The good news is the bases are empty. The bad news is there are no outs. The Angels with 5 straight hits to knock Zach Littell out of the game, including 3 homers. As the first pitch from Englert is on the outer rail, strike one to Jorge Soler. Big right-hand hitting right fielder for the Angels. He is 4th in the order. Englert with the high socks, pumps, throws. And again, puts it in the same spot. Outside corner, and it's quickly 0-2 on Soler. No more 3-man booth chants, though, the rest of the season. Boy.
Except the next 2 days.
That backfired quickly. 0-2 pitch is cut on and missed for strike 3. Good breaking ball there from Englert. Looked like the curveball off the plate. Soler chased it, and there is out number 1 on just 3 pitches.
You can honor Jackie Robinson and his pioneering legacy with the Rays on Jackie Robinson Day. Next Tuesday, your Rays host the Red Sox for a 7:05 divisional rivalry matchup. You can get your tickets at raysbaseball.com/42.
And the next batter is Logan O'Hoppe. Right on right, first pitch is swung on and popped out of play on the first base side, and the count is 0-1.
I can't think of one series, and there must be at some point, but I can't remember any series that the Rays have played with the Angels where Trout hasn't gotten him at least once. Tropicana Field and Angel Stadium. He always gets at least one.
The 0-1 pitch here is swung on and laced into left center field for another base hit. O'Hoppe on with his second hit of the ball game. He doubled his first at bat against Zach Littell in the second, and here he singles with 1 out here in the 5th.
And a lot of innings for Mason Englert and company to cover today, too. That's really the challenge, is that when you're at home and you're losing like this, you've got 5 innings now to cover out of the bullpen. I mean, Mason might be able to give you 50, 60 pitches, but I can't imagine he goes more than 3, so that still would even leave a couple more to be desired on the back end.
And now he'll have to deal with Nolan Shonowell, the left-hand hitting first baseman. He's had a good day today. First one to him from Englert is on its way. Swing and a one-hopper hit to second. It's knocked down by Brandon Lau. His only play is to first, so he tosses it to Jonathan Aranda there. That's out number 2, but up to second goes O'Hoppe. And now the 9th batter of the inning will come up in Kyron Paris.
Are we doing trivia today?
We are. We're going to keep it right here in the middle of the 5th. I had a couple that I was working through. I think the one that I'm going to go with is the one that the people in the front row had a tough time with in the press box.
Oh, okay.
I was testing it out, like a stand-up comedian. going to a few open mic nights before hitting the big stage.
Which you have done.
Yeah, just once or twice. Not necessarily well. So here is Paris. No home runs today, thankfully, as this pitch is up high, ball one.
Have we ever uncovered the tape of you doing your stand-up routine?
I think that's classified information. Yeah. Might be floating around the internet somewhere, though. It'll be a 1-0 to Paris. The pitch is in there, a strike, and now it's 1-1.
Gave Chris Miller something to do the rest of the day.
The Division of Radio Efficiency is on it.
Well, we'll see what that yields. Englert in a 1-1 count with Paris. Here's the pitch. And that breaker misses down and away. It is now 2-1.
My 2 teenage daughters are my audience on dad humor, and usually it doesn't go that well.
I love dad jokes.
Dad jokes are great, Neil. I think if you just get up there and do those, you're going to have a lot of success. Pitch is in there. A strike, and now it's 2-2 because then you're just the dad joke guy, right?
Yeah. I think the kids do like it. They just don't want to admit that they like it.
Oh, boy. And now catcher's interference has been called against Ben Rortvedt. So Kyron Paris will be awarded first.
Was it that, or did it hit him?
It looked like he pointed at Rortvedt, but maybe it got a piece of Paris. I think it got Rortvedt's glove.
All right, and that is an error.
Yeah, it looked like it just nicked the leather there. So now the Angels have batted around, and it's Joe Adell who led off this top of the fifth inning on a home run on the first pitch that he saw. Runners at first and second, 7-1 Los Angeles. The pitch. Swing, and that one's tomahawk deep to left field. And for the second time this inning, Joe Adell has homered. A solo blast on the first pitch of this top of the fifth inning, and a 3-run shot on the most recent pitch of this top of the fifth inning. And now it's 10-1 Angels here at Steinbrenner Field.
Oh, we haven't talked about it much, but generally, home runs are pitched as much as they're hit. That was a home run that was pitched. That was a breaking ball right in the middle of the plate, right at the belt.
Many of these have nothing to do with the ballpark, the elements, or anything. They are just crushed.
And now it is Tim Anderson who looks at a strike from Mason Englert. But you don't see that very often, someone homering twice in the same inning. And it has been done by the Angels center fielder, Joe Adell. And the 0-1 pitch is hit on the ground to short. Up with it is Jose Caballero, and he'll throw out Tim Anderson. But what an inning for the Los Angeles Angels. They hit 4 home runs here in the top of the fifth and now lead the Rays 10-1.
Great moments in baseball have been broadcast on the radio.
in Tampa, 10-1 Angels, but Jose Caballero going to try to get something going for the Rays as he takes down an away ball one from their starter, Jose Soriano.
If anyone has a thought, they can type into us on social, at Rays Radio, at Neil Solons, at Andy B. Free.
The 1-0 to Cabby is low, and it's 2-0.
We have to think. You said 2015?
Wait, you said about a decade ago.
About a decade ago. I'm not going to give you the exact year, but yeah, about 10 years. As the 2-0 pitch to Caballero is just high, and now it's 3-0. I'll give you the year, okay? 2015.
Oh.
So it's exactly a decade.
That was Kevin Cash's first year, so we got to think about who was even on the Angels back then other than Trout.
3-0 is downstairs, and if you're going to come back from 9 runs down, that's a good way to start. Jose Caballero on with the leadoff walk here in the home fifth. And that'll bring up Jake Mangum.
Did Peter Borges ever win a Gold Glove?
That was another one of Adam Berry's guesses. It was not Peter Borges.
Incorrect.
I could give you some other teams that this guy played for, too, unless you want to let it marinate for a bit longer.
Nielsen?
I'm having a tough time with this because I couldn't even name you one outfielder that played for the Angels in 2015.
Yeah.
Besides Mike Trout.
Yeah, I mean, and that was right after the Angels made their last playoff, too. So I'm trying to even think of that team because they were every Angels team that even made the playoff under Trout, he's never won a game in the postseason. So it's not like they had some long run where their names come to mind immediately.
Well, here is Jake Mangum. Switch hitting right fielder will bat left-handed. The pitch from Soriano is swung on and grounded to third. Should be 2. Rengifo goes to second 1. On to first with it, not in time. Good hustle by Mangum, who is there with a fielder's choice. So only 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th, and now it'll be up to Ben Rortvedt.
That stands out to me what Jake Mangum that did right there. That's a one-hop ground ball right at the third baseman with the third baseman in. That should be a routine 5-4-3 double play, and he beats out the play by running hard out of the box in a 10-1 ball game. Those kind of things do stand out when you're having a tough day.
It's exceptional hustle as Ben Rortvedt digs in and stares at strike 1 from Jose Soriano.
Should note also, when the Rays hit one out of the park, you score free pizza from Colony Grill. Buy any one pizza and get a Colony Grill famous hot oil pizza for free. Restrictions apply. For more details, visit raysbaseball.com/Colony Grill.
0-1 pitch whizzes inside, and it's 1-1, based out of Connecticut.
There you go. Should be whenever we get a trivia question right.
What is that, the Constitution State? I think that's right. I think that's it. I didn't even know Connecticut-style pizza was a thing until I moved to Tampa Bay. The pitch is outside, and now it's 2-1, and this is coming from a guy who grew up in New England.
Right. But that was northern New England.
That's right. And I don't know about Maine-style pizza, New Hampshire, Vermont. I don't know if those exist. 2-1 is down and in, and now it's 3-1. I do know Connecticut-style is delicious, though.
When we lived in Rhode Island, we couldn't believe you would go to the bakery to get pizza. And
Is that right?
That's the only place I've ever seen where that was from, and it wasn't the best.
3-1 pitch to Rortvedt is low, and so here come the Rays. A couple of ducks on the pond, and Yandy Diaz coming up.
Well, Gary Matthews Jr., I'm guessing, wasn't with them.
That's a good guess, though.
But it would be incorrect?
It was not him.
Oh, okay.
All the guys that come to mind are like Angel outfielders of the 90s and the early 2000s that were good.
Hamilton, was he with them at that point?
He wasn't a Gold Glover.
No, I'm just trying to think of any other outfielders that they might have had.
10-1 Halos here in the bottom of the 5th, and the first pitch to Diaz is in at the knees for a strike, and it's 0-1.
Wasn't Disco Dan Ford from the early 80s?
My favorite was Adam Berry in there said, well, Hunter Renfroe was on those teams for a little while, wasn't he? I go, yeah, he was. I go, so what about him? No. The 0-1 to Yandy is waved at, and now it's 0-2.
All right, we need I think
you want some help?
Hints.
All right, well, Neil's a big Immaculate Grid guy, so here you go. Texas, Arizona, Cleveland, and the Angels. It'll be an 0-2, And Diaz swings and bounces one up the middle. Here is Paris flipping to Anderson for one. On to first with it. Goes the shortstop a little high, but Shonowell jumps up, catches it, lands on the base. That's a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play.
Great moments in baseball have been broadcast on the radio.
Final stab at it?
I'm like coming up nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Torrey Hunter was the only name I had. Peter Borges was a good guess, and I can't think of another Angel outfielder that played in the 2015 era.
The grid teams I gave you didn't do anything for
grid,
you, huh?
I'll be honest when it comes to grid now.
This one's yanked into left field. Another base hit for Taylor Ward. It's his third, and we'll see if he heads for second. He does not. Makes a big turnaround first as the throw comes in there, and he is on with a leadoff single to begin the sixth inning.
I sometimes finish the Immaculate Grid. Most times I don't. I basically look to see if I can put an X-ray in all 9 squares, and if I can't, I just move on and do something else.
So these wouldn't help at all because he never played for the Rays.
Yeah, if he hasn't played for the Rays, I don't have any idea who it might be.
So it's Texas, Cleveland, the Angels, and who?
And Arizona. See, Neil, I thought that the Trivia Driveline program you attended this offseason would have helped you.
It did not include grid work.
That one's inside. Or no, it grabs the inside corner to Luis Rengifo for strike one.
I think Chris Miller has it.
Did you cheat?
It just
Teams gave it to me.
The teams gave it to you. Steve Finley?
You got it, Chris? All right. I believe so.
Wow.
He's a lefty. The 0-1 to this lefty is whacked into center. Right at Cameron Meisner, though. He'll backpedal and make the catch. And there is out number 1 here in the 6th inning for Mike Trout.
I'm coming up nothing.
All right, Chris, you want to reveal who the player is? Yes.
Oh. His initials.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay, so it's KC.
And that's the one. It is KC.
Oh, I know who it is now.
Neil's got it as Mike Trout flies one deep in the air to straightaway center. Not deep enough, though. Cameron Meisner fighting the sun, and he will haul it in. That looked dangerous for a moment, but it is out number 2.
I forgot about this left-handed swinging outfielder.
Go ahead.
Cole Calhoun.
It is
there
Cole
you go.
Calhoun.
Nice.
But I
Nicely
needed 40, with 42 clues, yes.
Chris Miller ends up coming in with the answer, and he did not cheat.
That's what they taught you at Driveline, right, Neil? If you get 42 hints, you should be able to get it right, and Neil did.
We didn't quit.
You've been off to a hot start this year with trivia, though, Neil.
Today was not that's not a banner day. With all those clues, it doesn't really count as a dub.
Probably not.
Here's Jorge Soler. The pitch is outside, and now it's 1-0. But, I mean, even yesterday, we're talking about the 4 most valuable player winners for the Angels, and you say Ohtani, and Andy's like, no, he never won one for them.
And he believed me.
Neil all over it. As the 1-0 pitch from Engler to Soler is in the zone for a strike, and it is now 1-1. It's still 10-1 Angels, who are out hitting the Rays 11-3 in this rubber match on a toasty afternoon here at Steinbrenner Field. Plenty of clouds above, but sun shining through, no problem. Runner at first, and the 1-1 offering is cut on and missed. And now it's 1-2. You know, I was reading up on Soler. You forget how many teams he's played for. And the fact that he won a World Series MVP not even 4 years ago.
Right. I can think of Cubs and Royals and Braves.
Yeah. Who else you got? Grid guy. Come on, Neil.
Yeah.
You didn't play for the Rays.
So it's not in
Neil's exempt.
Universe.
He's recused himself. How about the Marlins? How about the Giants?
Forgot that, too.
1-2 pitch to Soler is fouled out of play to the right side. Now the Angels, his 6th team, but last year he also had stint number 2 with Atlanta.
Wow.
The team with whom he won the 21 World Series MVP. Yeah. And he had a home run in, what was it, Game 6 in Houston, that when he hit it, I mean, it was annihilated so hard that I almost thought it was foul because of the camera angle and because of his reaction. Yeah. And then you realize, oh, it's headed for Dallas. It'll be a 1-2 here to the same player, Soler. And that one just misses, nabbing the lower outside part of the plate, and it's 2-2.
The postseason's really about just who gets hot at the right time.
Think about all the bit players, quote-unquote, that the Braves had. Eddie Rosario led the NLCS with the most hits ever in that championship series. As the 2-2 is yanked on the ground to the left side, it's Caballero going to second for the force play. And that will do it for the Angels, who are held scoreless in this frame by Mason Englert. We go to the home 6th. Angels
take a hack at guessing which baseball player or manager said the following.
I really don't know what to say. I'm just...
Orlando Health.
And we are on to the home sixth here at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. 10-1 Angels. But the Rays coming up. It is Brandon Lau, the left-hand hitting second baseman, who looks at strike one from Angels starter Jose Soriano. So, guys, we were talking about how there was breakfast earlier today, which I'm so delighted to see. Scrambled eggs, too. The hash browns, as that one's bounced in, and it's 1-1. A food item that was not down there, though, chicken wings.
Okay.
And you don't always have them for breakfast, although you can sometimes. Apparently, Cody Bellinger had them a couple of days ago, and things didn't go so well for the Yankees outfielder. As the 1-1 is off the plate, and now it's 2-1. And because of this, and for those of you who don't know, he ordered them to his room at their hotel in Detroit when they were playing the Tigers on Tuesday. As this one is swung at and fouled straight down by Lau, and it's 2-2. Anyway, he got food poisoning. He was throwing up all over the place, not to get graphic. Missed the game Tuesday, was back in Wednesday, but he has sworn off wings for the next 5 years. So that's it. No more chicken wings for Cody Bellinger, at least for the next half decade.
Why 5 years? Like,
great question.
The 5 years? Why that's the mark? We'll have at it in the 2030s?
2-2 to Brandon Lau is up and away, and now it's 3-2. Have you ever sworn off a food, though?
Yes.
What I was wondering. Yeah, after an episode like that?
Yes. And to this day, I couldn't. And I really liked it, too, but I can't. The notion of it just makes me ill.
3-2 pitch is lofted to center, and that will sink in for a base hit. Brandon Lau aboard with the leadoff single to begin the home sixth. So what was that food item, Andy?
Well, I almost can't say. And it was good, too. It was a homemade taco bake, and it didn't stick around long enough for me to really savor it. And that's about 20 years ago now. No, that's probably about 25 years ago now.
So you swore it off for 5 times the amount that Cody Bellinger did wings.
Can't do it. Yep. It's a shame.
Now here's Junior Caminero. Rays down 9 here in the 6th. The pitch. Streaks in there, a strike at 97 from Soriano, strike one. How about you, Neil?
I can't remember swearing off any food. I remember my daughter swearing off of food because there was, she got the flu at one point. I think probably like 7-8 years ago.
A 1 is down and away, ball and a strike.
And there was a pizza place that we had gotten food from the night before she got it. And because of that, she did not want to have anything from there for like forever. And then they went out of business after the pandemic, so we actually never had their pizza again.
That one is on the outside
Neil
corner.
Stories.
It's 1 and 2. Yeah.
Always have some little thing that makes me go, huh. So is that's why they closed?
They must have.
You guys stopped getting your takeout there, and then that was it. They couldn't
ruined their
survive
business.
anymore.
It's all because Emily got sick.
As long as Emily's okay, though.
Yes, she is.
It'll be a 1-2 from Soriano. There's a swing and a foul off to the left. We'll do it again.
Neil's had to swear off certain kind of nuts and things, right? Or else your head looks like the Angels uniform.
Yes, that's allergy related. That's that's nothing that I have that I'm swearing that off for 5 years. I don't have a 5-year moratorium on anything.
So, but no nuts for you whatsoever, then?
No, I can.
Okay.
Almonds, peanuts, good. Other tree nuts, not so.
Gotcha.
So the carrot cake with the pecans, I had to pass on.
Oh, that's so sad. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Took a lot off it. A knuckle curve there from Jose Soriano, and he rings up Junior Caminero for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Really, first time that Junior's been off balance against Soriano. He said he's had some of the best at-bats for the Rays in this game, which I think in a game that's so lopsided in the Angels' favor is probably one of the positives you take away from this game so far, from a Rays perspective.
Now it's Jonathan Aranda, left-hand hitting first baseman. The pitch is cut on and missed, and it's 0-1. You got any foods that you just say absolutely not at all times? Just because you don't care for them?
Is that me or you?
It's both of you guys. Go ahead.
I get some.
0-1. Swinging a broken bat roller to second. Could be 2. Paris flips to Anderson at second for 1. And he goes to first with it. It is another 4-6-3 double play. The second straight inning in which the Angels have turned one. You guys can take the food from here. We'll go to the 7th inning. Angels
Take a hack at guessing which baseball player or manager said.
For your Rays gear, we go to the 7th, third inning for Mason Englert. Back in with a play-by-play, Andy Free.
Okay, Neil, thank you very much. Englert has been throwing a lot of strikes as he throws, and this one is fouled straight back by Logan O'Hoppe, and it's 0-1. I mean, only 5 pitches out of the zone is pretty darn good, and that's what you need to do in this role. No balls, 1 strike. O'Hoppe lines one off the diving attempt of Caballero out to second. Lau with the pickup and throw from behind the bag, and that's in the dirt. It'll be an infield single for Logan O'Hoppe, who has 3 hits following his 3 strikeout game yesterday.
This is kind of one of those days for the Rays from a pitching standpoint. And you know what? They've played now 12 games. This is the first one they've even allowed 10 hits. They've been so good in terms of keeping guys off the bases, and this is just unfortunately one of those days for the staff.
It's a rough one, and then you wonder the effect it can have moving forward. As Nolan Shotwell, left-hand batter, lines one, caught out of the air on the backhand by Brandon Lau. Back to first goes O'Hoppe, and there's 1 out here in the 7th.
Boy, it looks like every guy in the lineup is seeing the ball well, doesn't it?
The game started with the Rays hitting the ball awfully hard against Soriano, but that's gone away. And the Angels had more bloops early on, and then once they figured it out, they've been clobbering the baseball. Here's Kyren Paris. And Englert at the belt, a long hold, and now pitches. Inside corner, cold strike. It's 0-1. Paris is struck out. He is grounded to short, and then reached on a catcher's interference right in front of Joe Adell's second home run of the inning, the 3-run homer that really probably put it out of reach. Englert's pitch grounded slowly up the third base line. Fair ball. Bare hand pickup by Caminero. The long throw to first in time. Nicely done by Junior Caminero. So far, the play of the day by the Rays defensively. Up to second goes O'Hoppe.
Yeah, earlier Jake Mangum might have taken a home run away, but I think that play by Caminero on the dead run with the bare hand is much prettier. It's hard to get a grip on the baseball. He's got such a big paw, and he was able to really set his feet well underneath him to make this play on the run.
2 out runner at second. Here's Joe Adell, and what a day he's having. And you think of the ball that Adell hit that Mangum took back, or it would be a 3-homer day for Joe Adell. But it's a 2-homer day, and he takes outside corner strike. It's 0-1. Well, it was Shotwell that hit the one that Mangum took back, but Adell did fly one to the warning track his first time. He is feeling it today after an off day. And they get to go to another pretty friendly home run park in Houston coming up.
By the way, they're swinging at Crawford boxes look awful inviting for the Angels.
No balls and a strike to Joe Adell. Here's Engler with a look back to second base. Well, happy with his lead, and now the pitch. Taken, and that's low and inside. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
And by the way, the flags have really picked up in terms of the wind. It's blowing straight out to all fields now.
1 ball, 1 strike. Maybe setting things up for a Rays comeback. They need something because they're getting pounded at home. 10-1. Here's a swing on a line drive past third, foul up against the sidewall. And the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the Angels had 4 home runs yesterday. They had 1 in game 1 of the series. 5 home runs today. I mean, they are clocking the baseball. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 out and a runner at second. Here's Engler. It's delivery. Chopped on the ground to Caballero at short. His throw into first is in plenty of time to retire the side. No runs to hit and 1 left. Engler doing a pretty nice job in relief. And we go to the home 7th at stretch time in Tampa, Florida. 10.
Let's see if we can figure out the following baseball slang term. Today's phrase is
through 6, and his Angels lead the Rays 10-1. And here's Morel, who lifts the first one out of play to the right side, and it's 0-1. Christopher has struck out twice against Soriano, struck out swinging and looking, both at bats ending on sliders. It's 0-1. And Soriano comes down the hill, and it's a fastball strike 2 called. The Rays will have the Atlanta Braves come to town. The 2-9 Atlanta Braves, although they do play tonight at home against Philadelphia. Morel takes it low. Should be 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tomorrow will be Taj Bradley against Bryce Elder. 3 different game times over the weekend. Tomorrow, 7:05 first pitch. So we hope you make your plans to be with us this weekend, starting tomorrow with the Rays and the Braves. Morel swings it, rolls it right to the third baseman, Luis Rengifo. Up with it now. Long throw to first. Plenty of time. And 1 out. Saturday at 4:10, Drew Rasmussen against A.J. Smith-Shawver. And then Sunday at 1:40, Shane Baz against Chris Sale. Hard to believe the Braves are off to such a rough start, but then you look at what happened with them. They started the year out west against the Padres and the Dodgers and got swept both places. And it took a home series against the Marlins for them to get a win. Here's a swing, the foul tip by Cameron Meisner at the plate. It's 0-1. for the Braves, who some people's pick even to win that division. It's possible. So much time left. But they are already 6 games out. 11 games into the year. On 0-1, fastball is high, 1 ball, 1 strike. He'll get Acuna back as the season goes along. And Spencer Strider, I think tonight, makes another rehab appearance. So they'll get some help, but it's a pretty big hole. Of course, that's a Braves team that was in a similar kind of hole at the All-Star break in 21, and they won the series. So don't tell them it'll be a lost year. On 1-1 to Meisner, line towards second on a hop, snagged out of the air by Kyran Paris, and he throws to first for the second out.
Well, you sometimes forget that last year the Astros are 12-24, and they won a division as competitive as the West with the Mariners' good pitching and Texas's talent. So sometimes we take too much into a sample size of 10 games or 12 games or 15, or even in last year's case, Houston was 36 games in before they got going. I don't think they got over 500 until after midseason.
Jose Caballero pops one up, right center field, but a long run for Joe Adele, but he'll make it easily, covering all that ground with a very comfortable-looking stride. Caballero is out, and the Rays are finished in the 7th. To the 8th inning now. It's 10-1 Angels.
Let's see if we can figure out the following baseball sling.
RaysBaseball.com/Rays Rookies. 8th inning. Here's Neil Solomons.
All right, thanks, Andy. Garrett Clevenger's the third Rays pitcher of the day, and his first offering is a ball outside to Tim Anderson, 1-0. For Clevenger, it's just an opportunity to get some work. He has not pitched in this series and has not done so in a handful of days. Rays left-hander, third base out of the rubber fires, and there's a slider upstairs for a ball high, 2-0. This is where you just want to, if you're not getting consistent work, you want to be in the zone, you want to be quick in terms of your work, and you want to get right back in that first base dugout. As Clevenger throws 2-0. Popped him up into center field. Very playable for Meisner, fighting the sun with the glove in front of his eyes. He reaches up to make the grab, and there's one gone on 3 pitches for Clevenger and the Rays here in the top half of the 8th inning. Well, Mason Engler to his fair share of strikes. In fact, I thought he did a pretty solid job in terms of throwing a ton of strikes. 30 out of 36. He went 3 innings. Gave up 4 hits, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 1. As the pitch is in there for a strike to Taylor Ward, 0-1. Now, I think that all the runs that Engler allowed should be unearned because of catcher's interference on Ben Rourke. Right now they have 2 earned, 1 unearned as an 0-1. outside of ball 1-1 because the catcher's interference came with 2 out. Either way, the Rays are on the short end of a 10-1 game. Their most lopsided contest either way so far in the young season. 1-1 with 1 out. Fouled straight back, fastball upstairs, and it's 1-2 from Clevenger. Rays will see the Braves next, and hoping that Taj Bradley and Drew Rasmussen can get them going as they will pitch, and Shane Baz in that next set. 1-2. That's bounced in. Slider, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. We're going to see, I think, Chris Sale at the end of that series. Bryce Elder, who's filling in for the injured Ronaldo Lopez. And I think it's A.J. Smith-Shawver who will start the other game. Braves hosting the Phillies tonight. They have a night game, and then they travel. 2-2. Curveball lifted in the air toward right center field. Mangum and Meisner converge. Mangum the call, shy of the track in the alley. And there's 2 out here in the 8th inning for the Angels. Another ball hit in the air. As Luis Rengifo coming to the plate, the Angels have had a lot of balls in the air, and they've had the most success against any Rays pitching group so far in the young season. 4 home runs in 1 inning. They're right now, right near the top of the league in terms of home runs hit as the pitch. That's taken for a ball low, 1-0. Think about this. The Rays, in total, saw 5 home runs hit between themselves and their opponents in that first homestand in 6 games. 1-0. Inside a ball, and it's 2-0. In the last 24 hours, the Angels have hit 9 home runs. 4 yesterday and 5 today. And at times, this place is going to play very small, and it's going to be incumbent upon the staff to get as many balls on the ground as you can. Never seen a ground ball home run as a 2-0. Driven on a line towards shallow left field. In is Morel. Jogging beneath it, he makes the catch. That's a solid 1-2-3 inning for Garrett Clevenger. So we go bottom 8. It's still 10-1 Angels. This is the Rays Baseball Network.
Duke Energy is proud to team up with the Tampa Bay Rays.
I don't usually fall for someone. I don't even care who I run from. You're on my mind, and you know I'm broken, but you're not the kind on my mind, so listen. I'm on the run, afraid of heights, and too much for
Pray for a comeback for the ages, guys.
Well, that will be fun. It'll give you lots to talk about in the postgame, and we'll be listening either way.
Jake Mangum takes high from Jose Soriano, who's still out there for the 8th inning. The count 1-0, and why not? He's been in total control, and boy, he's still at just 85 pitches. Getting a lot of outs early in the count with a big lead as he eats up innings for the pen. As a ground ball chopped foul toward first, and let's pause for station identification on the Rays Baseball Network. 1-1 coming to Mangum, and Jake takes outside from Jose Soriano, and the count 2-1 on the Rays' number 8 hitter. Alongside Andy Fried and Chris Adams-Wall, I'm Neil Solons. Chris Miller with us in the booth, Casey Warner, Chris Mathis back in our network studios. 2-1 the count on Mangum to start the 8th. Unfortunately, the Rays on the short end of a 10-1 ball game on this Thursday afternoon. Angels 6 outs away from winning the 3-game series. Rays were hoping to get the set and get back to 500. 2-1. Swinging a pop-up foul out of play. Third base side, 2-2 on Mangum. Jake trying to start a new hit streak. He had his streak snapped yesterday. Two balls, two strikes.
A couple of defensive changes. Nicky Lopez goes out to left field to replace Taylor Ward. And J.D. Davis at first base, replacing Nolan Schaller.
Davis just joined the team today as a ground ball hit the other way to third base. Renjifo's got it, up with it, and throws to first to get the speedy Mangum. And another ball on the ground against Jose Soriano, and one gone here in the 8th inning for the Rays.
You can stay at Mint House St. Petersburg downtown in the vibrant Edge District, where the comfort of home meets hotel convenience. Visit minthouse.com or follow @StayMint on Instagram for more information.
Chance for Ron Washington to get some guys off their feet as they're in the midst of a 3-city 9-game road trip as Ben Rortvedt in. And he swings and grounds one right to second. Nice high hop. And the throw to first is in time from Paris. And quickly there are 2 down on a couple of ground outs. That's kind of the way it's gone for the Rays so far. A lot of balls on the ground as Curtis Mead is going to hit for Yandy Diaz in a 10-1 ball game. Mead had 2 hits yesterday. Yandy had grounded out 3 times once into a double play.
Think he could go out and pitch tonight?
I wouldn't be shocked. Certainly would make sense. He's hitting in the DH spot. The pitch taken, called strike, 0-1. Mead now 3 hits on the young season and 18 at-bats, including an RBI double. Soriano delivers. Taken a little low, and it's 1-1. Now look at this. You got 6 outs on the 3 double play balls, plus 9, 10, 11, 12, over a dozen on the ground. As there's one slowly hit on the ground at third, and it'll be basically a swinging bunt hit for Curtis Mead as Renjifo can do nothing but just eat it. I got 15 outs on the ground for Soriano. I mean, that's how you dominate a lineup on a day where the wind is blowing out. You can't hit a home run on the ground. And that's going to be it for Soriano, as Ron Washington making the move to the mound. And I think he's going to bring in the youngster who went straight from the draft ranks to the major league ranks. And Ryan Johnson, here he comes in. We'll tell you about him when we come back on the Rays Baseball Network.
Everywhere you go in West Central Florida, from Steinbrenner Field to St. Pete.
face this young fella that I haven't seen before. But it is a righty and lefty, if nothing else.
We'll see how he does against him. Brandon had a hit against Jose Soriano as a call of time. And I think something got loose out in the center field area. Joe Adele will flip whatever that was. I think it's a ball up into the stands.
24th player ever to skip the minor leagues and go right to the Angels. And if you had asked me, or go right to the big leagues, if you'd asked me which team would be the ones to do that, I'd say probably the Angels. They push their guys.
They do. And Johnson last year pitching in college as a ground ball hit to first in between hop snare by the new first baseman, and J.D. Davis takes it to the bag himself, retires Lau, and that'll be it for the Rays in the eighth. Down 10-1 after 8 here in Tampa on the Rays Baseball Network.
Get ready, get set, get check. It's just that easy to sell your car with MorganBuysCars.com.
All the big hits.
At the wall, gone! No doubt about it!
All the great grabs.
Wow! You gotta be kidding me! Put a cape on him!
And all the swagger.
And he does it in grand fashion!
Relive the day's biggest plays all in one lightning fast hour.
Oh my goodness! What a show! You better believe it!
Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings only on MLB Network.
Let's see if you can figure out the following baseball slang term. Today's phrase is Oppo Taco. Do you know what it means? Oppo Taco, a home run hit to the opposite field.
Austin Hayes with an Oppo Taco. His 13th, and it's a one-run game.
Expand your vocabulary by listening to every game on the MLB app and MLB.com.
Great moments in baseball have been broadcast on the radio since 1921.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game by the score of 3-2 on a home run by the Wizard.
Home run, part of a 5 home run day by the Angels. And the pitch from Biggie. There's a drive deep in the air, right center field. Heading back towards the wall is Meisner, and Trout's got another home run. 11-1 Angels. And you're welcome to the Houston Astros. We just got Trout hot for you. That's where they go next, and Trout ends the series with a 2-homer day. They have 3 players on 2 homer days. 6 home runs today by the Angels.
And 4 last night, so that's 10 in basically a 24-hour period.
Now Jorge Soler. Boy, this was really lopsided today in so many different ways. And the pitch is taken low. The starter, Soriano, was very good. Zach Littell did have his struggles today. They're out-homering the Rays 6-0. Rays have only 1 hit. It's a swing and a pop foul. So in some ways the answer to how we started our broadcast today, is this going to be the launching pad that we thought after yesterday? And the answer is, yeah, if you hit it well. The Rays just pounded the ball into the dirt today against a very good ground ball pitcher in Soriano. It's a swing and a miss by Soler, and it's 1-2. Soler has struck out 3 times. He's 0 for 4. He homered last night. Biggie pitches down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They're out hitting the Rays 13-5. And both teams have left 4 men on, but for the Angels, they've had so many base runners, but they've taken the full circuit. Nobody to leave on. Swinging a line drive base hit into center field. Off the bat is Soler. So he had an extra base hit in a couple games in a row. None today, but he gets a hit in his 5th try.
Number 14, Logan O'Hoppe.
And now Logan O'Hoppe. So the Angels becoming like the best home run team out there right now, this side of the Yankees. And they've had one of those days, torpedo bat or not. And the first pitch is high. In fact, I would think that 1, maybe 2 at the most would be because of the dimensions. Outside of that, these have been hit very, very well.
Especially the ones to center and right center.
You bet. O'Hoppe takes down low. J.D. Davis is on deck. We'll see him make his Angels debut at the plate in just a little bit. The stretch by Biggie, he delivers. Popped him up foul, out of play to the right side, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. So the Angels are going to go to 8-4. They'll win their first 4 series of the year for the first time in 2018. Their franchise record is 5 straight series won. This ball's in the dirt from Biggie, and it's 3 balls and a strike. And the Rays, who had an opportunity to win their first 3 home series of the year, that looks like that will not happen. They had done that 5 times over the franchise history. It's a check swing, and he went around. It's actually a cold strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And where we talk about not taking too much in 3 or 4 series of the season, that Angel team that last won 4 straight series to begin the year finished 80-82.
That's it. So swinging a ground ball toward short. Caballero to his left, sweeps over to get it to second for 1. Lau the turn to first. Double play. 2 down.
Nice job by Brandon Lau. That was not a great feed from Jose Caballero, and it looked like Brandon had to clutch at his mitt a second time. Or maybe it was Cabby who had trouble getting out of his glove, but give Brandon credit for making a smooth turn and getting the finish.
For that outstanding double play, TD Cynics donates another $250 to Girls Inc., supporting and encouraging girls to be strong, smart, and bold through direct service and advocacy. And now J.D. Davis does get a chance as a right-handed batter takes a first pitch strike from Hunter Biggie. It's 0-1. And Biggie to the set with 2 out, nobody on. And that one swung on and fouled back. Davis just getting called up with the injury to Yoan Moncada. Moncada has been suffering with a thumb injury. He was in the lineup yesterday, played for 1 at bat, and then had to be taken out, so he goes on the injured list. There's a swing and a foul to the right side by Davis, and it is 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to J.D. Davis. I can't see the Angel bullpen, but I'm gonna guess that Ryan Johnson will stay in and work the bottom of the 9th. Here comes Biggie home in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We often say there is something even in a blowout game to get the last couple of outs, especially for a guy that has gone right from college to the majors, which seems almost an impossibility. Here's ball 2 down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Who were we talking about that did it as a catcher? I can't imagine a catcher going from the amateur ranks to the big leagues.
There was one.
And I think it was from the high school to the big. Swinging a ground ball wide of third. Caminero over to his left on a high hop. Lines a throw on to first and plenty of time to retire the side. A homer by Trout. He's got a pair today, and it's all Angels as we go bottom 9. They lead the Rays 11-1 on the Rays Radio Network.
Hi. Take a hack at guessing.
One of America's favorite beaches. Well, we've had a lot of plays on the other side that have been unforgettable for the Angels. Plan your next getaway, visit SPC.com. Has to come in that 8-run inning for Los Angeles, the fifth, I would imagine.
Just a monster inning that was. All right, well, Junior Caminero